Hey YouTube, what's up? Number 1205 here. Super boring video today. Wanted to take you through the last step in my process for storing my car for the winter, which is to put the cover on. I'll mention this again, but the cover that I have is from California Car Cover. The specific model is what they call a DustStop. That's one word, but it is a DustStop tight weave soft cover. The inside has a lining, if you will, that is nice and soft on the car paint. So it itself is not going to do any sort of damage or cause any problems with your paint. Best way to use it, however, obviously, is to make sure that the car is clean. So that is definitely a first step for me, is to make sure I get it washed up real well. It is a nice multi-layered tight weave fabric, so any sort of like dust or other residual debris from being in the garage that might blow around, especially in the fall months when you got the door open, it keeps that stuff off really well, and it covers 100% of the painted area of the car. It leaves only a very slight amount of space at the very bottom of each wheel that you can actually still see. So it does a really good job of covering everything up. The cover does have a cord that you can put underneath, and a couple of large grommets in the center of each side of the car, so you can kind of lash everything together and tie it onto the car, if you will. But it also has elastic at the rear and at the front, so that once you pull that portion over the vehicle, over the bumper and whatnot, get it down underneath the car, that elastic then kind of gathers it and pulls it and holds it tight. The cover can be machine washed, although you need a big machine. So we've got the larger, or maybe largest, kind of regular sort of residential front load machines. I don't know that they're really big enough, that the washer in particular is really big enough to put this thing in. So what I'm going to do is, there's a little debris and grime around the bottom edges, and that's fine. But in the spring, I'll actually take it to a commercial laundromat, and I'll spend 10 or 12 bucks and run it through the wash, bring it home, and hang it up here in the backyard and let it air dry. I can't say enough good stuff about the cover. It's got enough thickness and layers to the material that it actually has a little bit of kind of like, let's call it bump protection. If somebody takes a swing at your car with something, it's probably going to dent the panel. But anybody that might accidentally kind of bump into it or bump something into it, kind of on the lighter side walking by, whatever, it actually will help to protect the paint and even the sheet metal or plastic parts on the car as well. And for me, that's important because my car doesn't get stored anymore. It used to, but it doesn't get stored anymore in a storage unit where it's literally locked off from the world. Since buying the new house and relocating, we have a garage large enough that I actually have a place now here at the house to store the car. And as a result, it is sitting there with, plenty of foot traffic all through the winter, people walking in and out and whatnot. So all those little tiny bits of protection matter to me. So let's go ahead and get to it, and I'll show you the fairly quick process that I use to put the cover on. And arguably one of the big reasons that it's quick for me is because I actually spend a few minutes taking the cover off to kind of fold it as I go, and then roll it up so that when I'm ready to put it on, it just kind of waterfalls into place, or whatever you want to call it. So you'll see, but let's go take a look. All right, this is the moment. I've set the TPMS stuff the way it needs to be set. I've got the air pressure in all four of the tires up to 42. I've routed my extension, 12-foot extension here through the grill, connected it to the battery terminals, got the tender connected, and now it's time to get the cover on and say goodbye until spring. So let's get this thing out of the bag. So this is a California Car Cover. This is their DustStop, made for the 6th gen Camaro. This was actually, I think, out of production either just before or right around the time that I bought my car. And I actually found somebody here in my state that had a 1LE that they were getting rid of, and they had a bunch of different little add-on items, including this cover. So I bought it off of him for a couple $100. Could not be happier with this. So I do this in a way that makes it simple for me. So I got it kind of all folded so that as I open and unfold, it just kind of goes right in place. I can't really get to the point there that I want to show, but here's the cool part, right? So just kind of line it up in the middle of the car. And unroll it, right? It's that simple. And then, as I kind of work my way along here, I can unfold it, and it just kind of naturally spreads out, lays out to exactly where it needs to go, except, guess what I did? This is what I was looking for and couldn't find it, but I'm willing to bet, yep, that's the front of the car. Easy enough to fix. Just give this a little turn. Oh, look. Isn't that convenient? You can see here there's a little shark fin spot. There's actually two, if I remember correctly. One for those cars that have the antenna up on the roof, and then a second one like mine where it's on the trunk. Pockets for the mirrors. That in place. Roll it over. And then what I'll do is I'll tackle the back of the car first. This goes right down. It actually goes over the exhaust tips, so I don't like to do it while the car's still hot. See, it wraps underneath. Oh, actually, I take it back. It is just the one for the roof. There isn't one on the trunk because you don't need it. Just bring this forward, snug it up. This happens to go nicely even over my splitter. And that's it. Wave goodbye. See you in about 5 months. All right, there you have it. A couple of minutes to put the cover on. Again, I spend a few minutes when I take the cover off to fold the cover to the different positions and whatnot, and I do that very much on purpose so that when it comes time to put that cover on, I can do it very easily and do it by myself without really kind of any issues. And as you saw, the biggest struggle I have is I know in my head when I take this off and I wrap it all up, I know in my head that I've done it so that I roll the cover starting at the front and I roll it up towards the rear. And that would mean that I would place the cover at the rear and kind of give it a little shove, push, whatever, to let it unroll down to the front bumper of the car. And I did it exactly backwards. I knew what I was doing. I just didn't listen to myself. But hey, even with all of that, it still went on pretty quick. It's done, and I don't have to think about it again now until we get to the spring. And as I think I even said during the video, the movements were a little choppy with some of the shooting. I was shooting it with my phone. That was held in one hand. It's mostly a one-handed operation, but there were a couple times where I had to kind of like, position myself in such a way that the view got obstructed or whatever. So I apologize for any of that. But I mean, that's it. California Car Cover's got other covers because they don't make that one in particular, that model anymore. But if you can find something that works on the same vein and it works for you, then awesome. You use a cover? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you again in the future. Until then, number 1205 out.